Mental health is very important for high schools for the reason that being with today's day and age, a lot of teenagers are exposed to so many more just turmoils, trials, adversities, family, jobs, workloads, grades, sports, those type of things. How I would define mental health is someone's mental well-being, their mental wellness, more or less how they are coping and dealing with social issues, family issues, relationship issues, those type of things. So much is required of high school students, and I do feel like the workload isn't too much. It's just more or less what is it that they do with their time? Like, do they have good time management skills? Do they have outlets? Do they have people they can rely on to help like lessen the burden of what they go through in their everyday life?
School usually ends around 3 for everyone, but for me it ends at 5:30. I usually have lacrosse practice every single day, and that's about 2 hours, and then I have to walk home, which takes about 30 to 40 minutes. And when I'm home, my brother is usually in the living room playing with his toys, and it takes about 2 hours for me to watch him. It can get very stressful because high school students, they have a lot going on, like love lives and friendships and like family problems and a lot more things that you can imagine. And sometimes it's just hard to balance them because you could be struggling in school and outside of school and you wouldn't know what to do or what to handle first. For me, I get very unmotivated when I look at my grades and then it's all missings. There's no point of doing work if it's like that. So it's very hard to get out of that situation, and you really have to push yourself and motivate yourself to do all of that work and then be okay at the same time.
From my own experience, I have a daughter who suffers from bipolar and severe depression and anxiety. She did not talk about it much. And by the time she hit college, she was actually at one point suicidal and had to be admitted to a mental health facility. In high school, she used to cut and then hide it, so I didn't know.
My second son became very depressed and unmotivated, and he didn't necessarily use medication like illegal drugs or weed. I just know that a lot of high schoolers probably do. It's more and more common. But he actually did get help from a professional and started prescription antidepressants, which helped him tremendously.
Some high schoolers deal with mental health by indulging in like drugs, alcohol, things that more or less harm them and not help them when dealing with mental health issues.
I think a lot of times they put it off. They're scared to seek help or resistant to. But usually if they do open up, they'd open up to a close friend or maybe a teacher.
Do you think that the community is a big risk factor or not really for teens and students your age with substance use? You do? Why? Do you think that teens are really impacted by...
I would say it is about your well-being, how you think, how you behave, how you act, all those things, as well as mental illness, either if it exists or lack thereof.
In this generation today, they would say that if you're depressed, you're seeking out for attention, or you just want people to come at you, this and that. It doesn't matter who you are, if you're poor, if you're rich, if you're in the middle class, if you're black, white, Asian, Hispanic, anyone could deal with mental health. So I think that people be like, oh, she has everything she wants, she can't be depressed. And I don't know, it's just so many factors that come with mental health and stigmas from social media, and how we think today affects how someone can reach out for help.
You're going through something, it's not as noticed, and if it is noticed, it's seeking out. So it kind of like makes you want to do it alone. And when you are doing it alone, it gets lonely.
I think the biggest thing is to speak up. There's nothing shameful about having mental health issues. And it's not something that we can see. So it's not a disease where we can look at you and tell that there's something wrong. So physically see that there's something wrong, even if we can tell your mood is different. So I think the biggest thing is to not try to push your feelings down and to speak up and let someone know how you're feeling, especially if your feelings are starting to get overwhelming to the point where you feel like you want to cut yourself or you want to hurt yourself.
And they find that every day, they're having intrusive thoughts of possibly harming themselves or just feeling low, like thoughts of I don't matter, or I'm less than. To really talk to somebody and find some help, like whether that's a counselor or a psychiatrist, to really not give up on themselves and to get help, because there is help out there and there's more and more awareness. Not fall into the stigma, because so many people are afraid of what other people will think of them. To just put that aside and just embrace whatever's going on and get through it. Like even the body and the mind is really connected. So if you're exercising, you're going to have a release of a lot of different biochemical things like serotonin and dopamine that's going to help lower depression. I'm not saying that's a cure for that. I'm not a mental health professional, but I would encourage young people to find something where they can be active.
For everybody who has any feeling that they feel like they have any mental health problems or feel like their mental health state is just not as healthy as they want it to be, they should definitely seek professional help.